Lowe's sent me one of their new table saws to test out. One of the main things that I noticed about this saw as soon as I opened the package is the cast aluminum top to the table. It's really nice. Seems really nice and smooth, straight, and it's one of the features I think I am going to enjoy most about this table. So let's see what all is in the box and all the crazy things that you get inside and how to put it together. I'm not gonna show you how to put it together. I'm just gonna show you what's in the box, go through everything, and run it through some test boards. Once you get everything unpacked from your table saw's box, you will find the main table saw unit. Clipped into the side, you'll find the blade guard and anti-kickback paws, a push stick, or chicken stick as I like to call them, the extension table, handy little screws right here. Rip fence, sub fence, not just one, but two blade wrenches, miter gauge. The riving knife and saw blade are already pre-installed. We'll get to those here in a minute. The power cord storage, little holder guy things. Outer upper leg assembly, inner upper leg assembly, two outer lower legs, two inner lower legs, the horizontal support, the front angle plate labeled A, back angled plate labeled B, two rolling wheels. Feels like there's some sort of a soft plastic, not quite rubber, but pretty good. These they're calling limit plates A. These they're calling fix plates. And these they're calling fix plates B. And finally, there's a handful of loose hardware. Make sure you check your box because my bag had a big old hole in the bottom of it and it was kind of spread out all over the box. So make sure you dig around in there and find everything that may have spilled out. I'm gonna follow this lovely instruction booklet that they sent, flip through here and see what it says, throw it together and play with it and see what we can do. And say habla español. Now that I've got it all put back together, we're going to go over some of the features. It's got a nice little power cord wrap here on the side. Also on this side, there's a spot for the blade guard to go in here. Like so. The anti-kickback paws. The two blade wrenches. It looks like they got the miter gauge in there too. How does that work? It's got it pictured. Going up here. But I don't see anywhere this seems to hook on to. Now the instructions say there's supposed to be a spot for the miter gauge, but I can't figure that part of it out. So if you know how to put this miter gauge in here, drop a note in the comments and let me know. On the other side of the table, it says we can get all of this in here. Let's see where this goes. Looks like this is gonna slide right in here. Looks good. The sub fence goes right here. And the chicken stick slides in a hole right here in front. Now let's see how easy it is to prep this thing for transport. Instructions say to tip the table to your left. Release this lock. There's a problem. This is gonna get in the way. Let's set that off to the side. Well, let's see if we can wedge it in here. That kind of works, keeps it out of the way. Fold this down. Lift this up. And there's a handy little spot to put the clip in right here to secure it. Seems secure enough. And away we go. And we're back. Let's run some wood through this and see what happens. It's a little bulky, but easy enough to transport. Found a scrap piece of cut off from an old project that was just sitting on the side of the garage. So let's run this thing through, get some little strips out of it, and just see what happens. We need electricity. And since I haven't started it up just yet, let's see what happens when you hit the start button. And the start button is located right here, and I think you just press it. Hey, that's pretty handy. Nice big off button, so you just have to slap it. And I'm just gonna put the board right here, set the height on the blade. That looks about good. I'm gonna set this to rip a 1-inch piece off the side. Let's see just how good. Oh, nope, can't do a 1 inch. Let's do a 1.5 inch strip. And then measure it and see what it looks like. Put it right on 1.5 inches. Start the saw. Pretty easy peasy. And now here's a 1.5 inch cut piece. So let's measure this out and see what it looks like, because that does not look like a straight cut. Probably should have set the blade first. And hooked up the vacuum. Whoops. And it looks like at one point, yes, it did do a perfect measurement of 1.5 inches. However, I can already tell that that cut side is not straight. And when I checked the measurements on the side over here, it was indeed just slightly off. So let's run another pass and see how it looks. I find that power button, turn it off, that is really handy. All right, looking at the second pass, I would say that that is much, much better. You still see where that one side is off just a little bit where it cut it, but that's fine, because that is a good side right there. And one more time, just for giggles. Super handy power button. And my eyeball and my fingers say that feels like a good crisp 90 degrees on all sides. Let's measure that one more time, just make sure that it's still 1.5 inches. Put it on a ruler, and yep, right at 1.5 inches. Hopefully that's not too bad of a glare for you. Take a quick look at the adjustment right here. When I cut those first couple pieces, it was just barely a notch off, like right there. As soon as you release that, it spins it over. So just make sure that you double check that your blade is all the way to the left when you do lock it down to start cutting. And I don't know about everybody else, but if you have ever seen one of these adjustment wheels turn straight, let me know. Everybody's table that I've ever used always has a little bit of a wobble or a little crookedness to it. Just something interesting about table saws. And here's that little chicken stick holder right here. I do like the table saw. I can see myself getting quite a bit of use out of it. There's little adjustment knobs here. Extension slides out, and it does have graduated markings on it. So you can, I guess, try and eyeball where it is, because that's not going to be a very accurate measurement if you're trying to measure something that's then sticking up a bit. But it's nice to have. It has a nice little exhaust vacuum port for it here. Let me see if my DeWalt will hook up to it. And I just noticed there's a little piece here that wasn't included in the instructions for how to attach that. Let me loosen the saw and see if I can push it over enough to get these little pieces to clip in there. Now that I have the saw tipped on its side, I can see where this little flappy piece is, and it's got 2 screws here and here that I believe I can just loosen those, get these pieces to clip in here, and then put them back. So let's see how that goes. Seems like a pretty quick and easy fix. Let's stand it up and see how it looks now. And now with the saw blade loosened, you can see that that piece glides and floats right there, which is probably what it was designed for. And it looks like it goes all the way. Now let's see if the vacuum will connect to that. I've got the trusty DeWalt vacuum here. And no, it looks like that's a little bit too big for that opening right there. But I'm sure if I shoved it in there, it could kind of work. There may be some sort of an attachment that goes in there that then allows this to suck up everything nice and easily. Otherwise, I'll just be blowing sawdust everywhere, which is fine. Gives me something to do to clean up afterwards. Lock this back down in the front. And I would say overall that I am very impressed with this saw. I quite like it. I can see myself using this for quite a few interior projects. And stick around for those. Make sure you like and subscribe down below to see the future projects this table saw does. How does that go on there? See, this is why we test these things.